Well, basically everybody's available because we have Diaby coming back into full training, Santos coming back into full training. They are not completely match fit, but they're back really injured. We have Fabianski at the moment. That's all.
What have you made of the Swansea success story this season as a whole?
They are a team who has shown last year already at a good technical level, and they can adapt. They adapted very quickly to the Premier League, and that they can buy well, because they've shown that again this year with players like Michu, and they lost their manager, but they've a successful history with the managers they take. They lost Brendan Rodgers, they took Laudrup, who is doing very well as well. They lost before Martinez, so they always find the right guy to replace the managers who is leaving.
You're always ambitious in the FA Cup, I'm sure, but specifically this season, how important is it?
Like every season, it's the same. It's our next game. You just want to win it.
Hello, Watson. Are you ideally placed though this year for a good cup run, and you're in a nice run of form? And what sort of priority does it have?
It has the priority because it's the next game, and we played Swansea. It's a difficult tie, but of course we want to come out on top of it. And for the rest, it's the first round we come in. So people will speculate a lot who will win it in the end, but to have a chance to do that, you just need to go through the first round.
Is it your best chance of a trophy this season?
It's a question that is impossible to answer.
Swansea were the last Premier League team to beat you. Did they surprise you that day? And maybe will you get more of a chance away?
Yes, I felt on the day we were a bit flat physically. Because we played the Champions League the week before, and as well we were not cautious enough, because with 3 minutes to go it was 0-0, and when you can not win a game, don't lose it. And I feel on the day we just lost this game because we wanted to win it too much.
Will you rotate your squad because it's the FA Cup?
I just play the team who I think has the best chances to win the game without considering any rotational desire, unless I think that one or two players need a breather, yes, but it will not be based on the fact that it's purely rotational.
Were you encouraged by Chelsea's defeat last night in terms of the race for Champions League?
No, it just confirms that it's difficult for everybody to win the game, that there's no difference between the teams now. The teams are well organized, they are physically very strong. And if you're not at your best, you don't win the games. It's the same for everybody. Manchester is top of the league, but they lost already 3 games. And so I believe that the Premier League is very competitive.
How many teams are left in the title race, do you think?
I don't know.
More than
2? More than 2, certainly, yes.
What's the latest on the Theo Walcott transfer negotiations and contract negotiations?
We are talking.
And are you encouraged by the talks?
Yes.
Is it more likely now, do you think, that he will sign a new deal this month, for example?
You know, it's very difficult to be predictable in this kind of situations, but I always said that our desire is there to do it as quickly as possible. We are ready to do it.
I mean, he's enjoying himself clearly as a central striker. Does that help you, do you feel, in terms of the negotiations with him?
I believe he's ready to play everywhere to up front. He enjoys it maybe more because it's a new experience for him, and he always wanted to do it. Will that play a part in his decision? I don't know. Only he can answer that question.
But does it make it even less likely that you'd look elsewhere for a striker, given how well he's doing in that position?
Well, first of all, what I said is that we have to make sure that the players who are here stay here after we look outside. So let's first try to finalize the deal with Theo Walcott, and after, if we need something else, we'll go somewhere else. But our priority is first that.
I suppose the flip side of his success in that role is that more clubs will be thinking and looking at him more closely, perhaps.
Well, the problem, you're right, there's always a flip side in our job. But you play the players where you think they should play, and you want to have a positive influence on their career. That is the most important. After that, of course, you want that to be here at our club, and I think it will happen.
Is there anything you can say about the future of Andre Arshavin? I know he had been linked with Reading, PSG has been mentioned as well. Is there anything you can say about that?
No news on that front, no.
And Schillaci and Giroud, players like that?
Schillaci, if he finds a club, he will certainly go. Giroud might go somewhere as well. That will be decided in the next 48 to 72 hours.
You've got 4 weeks of this, I guess, of transfer speculation. How draining is it from a manager's point of view?
No, I think the most draining is that you get the best out of your team and you worry about the next game, and that you, in our job, it's important that you focus on what is really important. The players who can help the club to win the games are the players who are here. Those who are somewhere on the transfer market will not help you to win the games. And for us, it's important to focus on our next game, and the next game can only be won by the players who are here.
Just one very last one from me. We saw last night Overtown ducking out of a wall leading to a goal. We saw it with Nasri and with Jack as well. How important is it that players are told to stay put and if necessary take one for the team, as it were, in a wall?
Well, to tell one thing is, yes, you tell, but after it's a reflex in the game, you know. Sometimes the players want to do it, but they have a protectional reflex. That's why we see handballs. And it is as well something that you do not work, especially in training. And so the players are maybe not prepared to do it.
Just Arsene, with Theo, is it just a question of money now? And you two need to come closer together?
I can only speak for our side, you know, and my side is that we want him to stay here, and of course I do not want to speak much more about that situation because it can be misinterpreted, and I don't think that Theo is only interested by money. I don't believe that.
If you aren't able to bring anybody else in, what gives you the confidence that this group of players you've got can break back into the top four? Because we saw more inconsistency again, and that seems to be the Achilles heel at the moment.
Well, if you look at our results in the last 2 months, I don't believe we have been inconsistent, especially inconsistent. We have rebuilt the team, and we have to show now that we can be consistent. I believe recently have been, and that's the target. What I said, the transfer market is in the middle of a season, and in the middle of a season, the clubs who have good players do not necessarily want to lose them in the middle of a season. That's why it's difficult.
You have a strong affinity with the FA Cup and having won it when you were first coming to the club. Does it still, for you, hold that special place, or will there come a point?
Yeah, it is something special because it's something exciting. It's something that, of course, is watched all over the world, and that has a special history in England. I always respected that, and I'm always sad when we don't win it or when we go out. I think we will put our maximum effort in on Sunday to win the game.
Does there come a time maybe later in the competition where you have to weigh that up against the Champions League?
Sometimes it is conflictual with the Champions League, yes, but not at the early stage.
And the last couple there.
Arsene, just to go back to Theo, do you think if he signs, how much of a positive effect would that have on players who you might look to bring to the club when you see such an important player?
It is a positive message for us to keep Theo. Of course, will it have an effect on the morale of a team? Yes, I'm convinced it will have a positive effect on the rest of the team. if he managed to sign him.
And do you think on potential targets that you might bring in, you're always looking at what's happening?
As well, yes. But Arsenal has a good reputation outside England, and many players want to join us, but at the moment all these players are under contract.
Okay, guys? Okay, we'll do the newspapers outside, guys. We'll go into the room. Thank you.